and form of Pilatia, meaning Jehovah has provided escape. Post-exilic head of the priestly paternal house of Modia in the days of Jeshua's successor Joachim. Ne 12. 17. Pim. The price that the Philistines charged the Israelites for sharpening various otextoi acute miritra longo, Piram 644. Those who handle the pipe or flute. Ge 4. 21. FTN. This possibly indicates the establishment of a profession, either of craftsmen making the instruments or of those playing them. Although the U-Gave was never listed as one of the temple instruments, some scholars believe that this name became a general term, designating any woodwind. Originally, though, it may have been a specific instrument, perhaps the flute or possibly a series of multi-toned pipes all closed at one end and blown across the open ends. The instrument in Nebuchadnezzar's orchestra specified by the Aramaic word mashmiddle.ro-middle.chi pipe, da 3. 5, 7, 10, 15. At, da, mo, nw, rs may correspond to the Hebrew U-Gave. Piram Zebra. The Amorite king of Jarmuth at the time Israel entered the Promised Land. Piram joined with 4 other Amorite kings in a conspiracy against the Gibeonites, who had made peace with Joshua. In the battle that followed, Piram and the other kings took refuge in a cave at Makeda, which the Israelites sealed up until the fighting was over. Piram and the others were then slain, hung on stakes until evening, and entombed in the same cave. Jos 10. 1-27. Pyrathan Pyramidal.than, Pyrathanite Pyr-Middle.thon of belonging to Pyrathan. Pyrathan was a town of Ephraim in the mountain of the Amalekite. Evidently an inhabitant of Pyrathan was known as a Pyrathanite, as were Hillel and, later, Benaiah, one of David's mighty men. Hillel's son Judge Abdon was buried there. JG 12. 13, 15. Tusa 23. 8, 30. 1 ch 11. 31. 27. 14 Farata, about 10 kilometers 6 MW of the suggested location for Shechem, has been suggested as a possible identification. Pisgah. An elevated place in the northern section of the Abraham mountain range immediately of the Dead Sea. The exact location is unknown. Bible references are not in conflict with its suggested identity with Ras Segar, a headland located about 16 kilometers 10 mi of where the Jordan empties into the Dead Sea. Ras Segar is a little NW of Jebel Unba, the summit traditionally known as Mount Nebo Ha-Nevo. The physical features of these two elevations are in agreement with the Bible's brief description. Ras Segar is about 100 meters 330 feet lower in elevation than Jebel Unba and is separated from the latter by a slight depression, or saddle. Though slightly lower than its neighbor summit, Ras Segar is closer to Jericho and affords an unobstructed view of the Dead Sea some 1,000 meters 3,300 feet below, as well as a splendid view of the Jordan Valley, of the central range on which Hebron, Bethlehem and Jerusalem are situated, and of Mount Hermon over 160 kilometers 100 mi to the end. The first mention of this place is in connection with the campsites along the line of Israel's march toward the Promised Land. New 21. 20. It was located in the southern part of that territory taken in the conquest of the Amorites after their king, Sihon, refused to let the Israelites pass through the land. De 4. 46, 49. Jos 12. 1-3 later, Balak the king of Moab took Balaam to the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, in a vain attempt to have the Israelites cursed. New 23. 14. Pisgah, however, is best remembered in connection with Moses' extensive view of the Promised Land shortly before his death. De 3. 27. 34. 1-3 Pisgah was designated as part of Reuben's tribal territory. De 3. 16, 17. Jos 13. 15, 20. Wherever the name Pisgah occurs in the Bible, it is always qualified by such expressions as the head of, the top of, or the slopes of Pisgah. As a consequence, it is frequently referred to as Mount Pisgah, though not so in the scriptures. Pishon Pishon possibly, more scattered. One of the 4 rivers branching out from the river or issuing out of Eden and thereafter encircling the entire land of Havilah, a land stated to be the source of gold, bdellium gum, and onyx stone. GE2 10-12 The identification o textoi acute muritra longo, Piet 645 Pisidia pi middle dot Sito middle dot an interior region of southern Asia Minor. It was a mountainous section, taking in the western portion of the Taurus range, lying in of Pamphylia and S of Galatian Phrygia, with Caria and Lycia on the W and Lycaonia on the E. The region is believed to have been about 190 km 120 mi from E to W and about 80 km 50 mi in breadth. It had many lofty ridges cut by valleys and mountain rivers. There were forests and pasturelands. The people of Pisidia were wild and warlike, forming tribal bands of robbers. These mountaineers were difficult to control and slow to be affected by Hellenic or Roman culture. The Romans assigned Galatian king Amyntas the task of subjugating them, but he died before accomplishing it. Pisidia became part of the Roman province of Galatia in 25 BCE, and in 6 BCE colonies in the area were garrisoned to hold the people in check.